What's up guys, it's your girl FrumpyFit, and if you don't know who I am, I'm an online weight loss coach who's dedicated to calling out all the BS in the fitness industry and providing you with accurate fitness, nutrition, and weight loss information. Today I'm reacting to a video called Personal Trainers Try Junk Food. It's all the way back from 2017, but it has 20 million views. And I just have a feeling in my gut that it's not going to be good. But before I do that, I want to take this opportunity to address some things. As my audience has been growing, I've been getting criticism, and comes with the territory. Having a large audience, you're going to get criticism pretty much no matter what. But I was really shocked at what I was getting criticized for, and that was that I'm recommending or saying it's okay for people to eat junk food on their weight loss journey, or eat junk food in general. In my video of me reacting to Adrienne Bailon's weight loss, I got a lot of criticism for me saying that it's okay, and I personally choose 88-cent white bread over a $5 loaf of Ezekiel bread. In the video, Adrienne says that she chooses Ezekiel bread on her weight loss journey because it's the right decision for her, which is fine. But I simply explained that Ezekiel bread actually has slightly more calories than your average piece of white bread, and switching to a healthier version of a certain food doesn't automatically mean that you're going to lose weight. But people got mad that I was recommending an option that was far less nutritious than Ezekiel bread. Yes, technically, choosing a healthier option over a less healthy option is always going to be better for physical health. But there are some factors that we are completely ignoring when we're comparing those two foods. Number one is that demonizing certain foods and saying that one food is inherently better than the other creates food guilt and food shame. I see so many people who feel guilty or shameful for eating or enjoying foods that are considered unhealthy. And that is a huge problem. It leads to restriction, which can lead to binging, which can lead to disordered eating. I don't think anybody could tell me that that's healthy. Mental health is just as important in this scenario as physical health is. So that's one of the reasons that I advocate for junk food. If you're someone who genuinely doesn't like junk food or chooses not to eat it for health reasons, that's great. I totally support you, but that's not true for everyone. And just because somebody likes junk food and wants to have it in their life in moderation doesn't mean that they should be shamed for that, and it doesn't mean that they don't deserve weight loss. The second thing that I think people criticizing me for recommending junk food are missing is that not everybody can afford 100% healthy food all of the time. In the Adrienne Bailon video, I recommended 88-cent bread versus $5 bread. Adrienne Bailon is a celebrity who can afford and has basically unlimited access to any healthy food that she wants. And that is not everybody's reality. There are things called food deserts where people literally do not have access to fresh or healthy food, or if they do, it's very expensive and they can't afford it. If you watched my last video, the Get to Know Me video, you heard me say that I believe that free and accurate fitness, nutrition, and weight loss information should be a basic human right. Everybody should have access to it. People in food deserts are normally of low socioeconomic status, and it's worth mentioning that the ethnicities most likely to live in a food desert are people of color, more specifically Black people of color. And if you look at this report from the United States Department of Agriculture, you can see, according to census data, that since 1990, it hasn't changed much. And so this is just a reminder that Black Lives Matter, and we are far from the fight being over. And if we want to make a change, we have to keep going. This is a perfect example of the systemic racism that Black people face in America. So just because somebody can't afford to buy a $5 loaf of bread that, is more nutritious than 88-cent bread from Walmart, doesn't mean that they should have to feel guilt or shame for eating that, and that they should have to think that there's no chance for them to lose weight if that's what they want to do. So with that said, let's get into this reaction video.
Well, apparently I've been told we're testing out junk food. I'm a bit nervous. I'm expecting some big monster play to something that will make me really fat all of a sudden.
So within the first 8 seconds, we've already heard someone say the word nervous in relation to eating junk food. Nervousness, anxiety, stress, shame, guilt, all of those things should not be associated with food. I don't care what food is on your plate. I mean, unless maybe you're on Fear Factor and they're making you eat bugs, that would be the only reason I would be nervous about eating a certain food. And I'm sure it was mostly just a joke, but he's expecting something that's gonna make him really fat all of a sudden. Like, that's not how it works. One meal of junk food, one whole day of junk food, even a whole week of junk food isn't gonna make you really fat all of a sudden. There's just already so much food fear coming at me from the screen.
It looks like diabetes on a plate.
Don't judge me, okay?
My mouth is really enjoying it, but my brain is kind of thinking about all the burpees I need to do to overcome it, I think.
This woman says her mouth is enjoying it, but she's thinking about all the burpees she's gonna have to do later to overcome it. I love it when fitness people make comparisons between junk food and the amount of exercise that you have to do to burn it off. It's absolutely totally ridiculous. If you watched my Metabolism Explained video, you know that there are 4 different ways that we burn calories throughout the day, and only one of them is exercise. And exercise actually makes up for a tiny little part of how many calories you burn every day. So just as a public service announcement, you burn a significant number of calories while you're sleeping at night. Depends on your height, age, weight, and sex, but average 150-pound adult burns like 600 calories by sleeping for 8 hours. Stop thinking about how much burpees you have to do and you can just go to bed. Problem solved. Also, the idea that you have to exercise in order to earn your food, very problematic. Not a healthy relationship with food at all.
I hope my clients aren't watching.
He said, I hope my clients aren't watching. Why? Why? Because you're setting a bad example for eating junk food? Because that's so bad? Because it's the end of the world? Me and my clients email back and forth about all the good food that we ate that week and how great it felt to be able to eat a food without feeling guilty about it. With my diet clients, I give them calorie and protein goals. I never tell any of my clients you have to eat this food, you can't eat that food. It's completely their decision. I just give them kind of general guidelines. And because calorie tracking can be a little overwhelming at first, I like to give them a sample eating day based off of the foods they've told me that they really like and a food log that they give me. So I notice what their eating patterns are. Do they like eating breakfast? Do they not like eating breakfast? Do they like snacking throughout the day? Do they prefer not to snack? And I build a full day that matches their eating patterns, because the closer you can get to it feeling normal, the more likely you're gonna stick to a diet. If somebody doesn't like eating breakfast, I'm not gonna give them a giant breakfast or tell them they need to eat breakfast. And I fit in some of their favorite treat foods throughout the day, but I also balance it with getting enough micronutrients in from fruits, vegetables, and everything else. So they get to see an example based on their calorie and protein goals of how you can enjoy a day where you're getting all the nutrition you need and enjoying treats in moderation.
Okay.
Tastes good, but again, it's is it worth it? It's all my cheat meals for the whole month together.
I get a lot of questions about cheat meals, and I used to do cheat meals. I did. I was a fan of them. I thought it was so exciting to reward myself at the end of the week. And I got to a point where I wasn't using the cheat meal as an excuse to eat as much as humanly possible. So that's the problem with cheat meals and cheat days, is they can totally reinforce the restriction binge cycle. And in terms of overall calories for weight loss, if you're in a deficit for the whole week and then you get to the weekend and you have a cheat day, the amount of calories you consume in that cheat day can totally negate the deficit that you were in for the rest of the week. So you have to be really careful with cheat meals. I'm not saying nobody should do them. It's fine if they work for you, but just be very careful that you might be feeding into the restriction binge cycle and you might be totally ruining your progress for the rest of the week. So that's why I personally am a fan of having small treats in moderation whenever I want them throughout the week, because then it doesn't turn into this I can only have it on this one day at this one meal.
If you're trying to be healthy, forget about it.
Eating junk food in moderation, as long as you are meeting your other nutrition requirements through healthy food, is totally fine and not going to prevent you from being healthy overall.
It's like everything's personal trainers and they eat healthy and, you know, they never touch bad things, but we're human too. Like,
so it's interesting that she said that. I'm trying to figure out like exactly what she meant. Like my initial reaction based off of the other things that she said is that we're human too is like the equivalent of saying like we make mistakes. That's just what I got from it. That might not have been what she meant, but it reinforces the idea that like giving in and enjoying junk food in moderation is a mistake, and it's not.
That'd be worth working off.
The whole thing is probably like 1,000 calories. That's not too easy to be burning off in a treadmill there.
Every single one of them in the video is talking about having to burn off this food at some point. Like, I'm scared to keep watching.
Cheat meal. Do a proper cheat meal. Don't half-ass it. You won't want to drink them too often, otherwise, yeah, you'd be in the gym a lot.
She looked like she was in physical pain from drinking the Coca-Cola. I will say that there's no world where Coca-Cola is healthy. Again, having things in moderation doesn't derail your health completely. But I personally, almost always, if I want soda, will pick a calorie-free option. And I know a lot of people are against artificial sweeteners. As far as artificial sweeteners giving you cancer or it tricking your body into thinking you're consuming sugar and then spiking your insulin and then causing you to store fat even though you're not consuming calories, like all of that is just like not accurate. I'm actually extremely sensitive to artificial sweeteners, like really sensitive, my digestion. So one time I went to this Italian ice place and I saw that they had a sugar-free option of this Italian ice and I was like, oh, I'll try it. And it was made with Splenda and I literally ate maybe half of it. And that night my stomach was in the most painful knots I had ever experienced. And every time I have something that has a little too much artificial sweeteners in it, my digestion is like, you made a mistake, girl. So I do try to limit them, but I totally will reach for a 0-calorie soda if I'm craving soda.
I definitely need to add in a little bit of metabolic conditioning to my program for the next few days to make up for it. It's not worth it.
That's what people don't get, like they need to put the work into to then be able to afford to eat that kind of stuff now and again.
Even if they did 0 exercise for the rest of the week after eating all of this large amount of junk food that they had in this video, they would not gain barely any weight at all. I actually watched a really interesting video from Jeff Nippard, who is an amazing science-based fitness YouTuber, and he did the 10,000 calorie challenge, and then according to scientific research figured out how much fat he would gain after having a 10,000 calorie day. Our body actually will adjust to the increase in calories and we might fidget more, we might have the urge to get up more often without us even knowing. So anyway guys, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on TikTok and hit the subscribe button here, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!